Hi, this video is intended to show you how to do some basic regression in your TI Nspire. So from the home screen, if you're at home, you go here and choose a spreadsheet, the green icon, and then you go up and you enter titles for whatever data you're dealing with, and you should choose an appropriate title. This is an important step. If you don't choose a title, you can't reference the lists later to do regression. So I'm going to say maybe year and population. All right, here we go. So at this point, you've got some data, and so you just enter it. So I'm just going to fabricate some data here. 1940, 1950. So that's fine for now. And then enter some values. All right, so I've got some data here. Now there's kind of some different stuff that you can do here. I'm going to show you one thing is how we can visually see the data. So I'm going to press Control, and then I'm going to hit Doc. Above it, you notice plus page. So by doing that, I'm going to add a page here. I've already done a list in spreadsheets. Now I'm going to do data and statistics. And then here it just kind of has the data listed randomly. So I'm going to click here, and that's going to add a variable to this axis here, the horizontal axis, or what you would typically think of as the x-axis. Time is often our x-axis, so I'm going to say year, and so it gives you all the year data, which is kind of nice. Then I'm going to click to add a variable here. I'm going to add population. So there it is. You notice it looks like a nice linear pattern here. So at this point, I'm going to do a line of fit or a regression line. So you go to Menu, Analyze, Regression. Now there's different types of regression. So like you can do an exponential regression, a logarithmic regression, etc. Here we're going to do linear regression. These are just two different forms, but they'll give you the same thing basically. They're just what M and B versus A and B, and obviously these two B's are different. But I'm going to choose MX plus B. So boom, there it is, and then it gives you the equation here as well, so you can copy that down. You notice it looks like a pretty good line of fit. This would be good for like an algebra class if you have to do some kind of regression or whatever. But if you're in a statistics class, obviously the requirements for regression are more sophisticated. So I'm going to show you another method to get at other types of questions that you might use for statistics, but also what might be useful to answer additional questions for an algebra class. So I'm going to do Control plus page again, and I'm going to add a calculator. And then from here, I'm going to go to Menu, Statistics, Stat Calculations, Linear Regression. And when I do that, now I'm going to fill in this information. This is going to give us a lot more than just the picture that we saw in the graph earlier. So I'm going to choose my X list. Of course, that's going to be year. There's stuff in here. These were variables that were generated when I did the regression in the last screen. I'm going to choose year as my X list. For my Y list, population. Now this one here where it says save regression equation 2, it lists this as F1. That's really useful to know because later on if I want to actually graph it, I can use F1 is going to already be this function here. So all I have to do is turn it on. Or if I want to figure out what the population might be at a specific year, I can use this function, which is kind of nice. Frequency list you don't need to worry about. That's a tool for statistics. So for the purpose of this video, you just leave it as 1. And then you don't need to do anything else. I'm going to press OK. And then here, it's giving me my M value here. So that's the slope of the line. It's going to give me my B value, negative 2,000, blah, blah, blah. You notice if we go back to the previous screen, it's just there's your M value, there's your B value. So it's the exact same thing that the calculator is doing. But here, it gives you these variables, which is kind of nice. And then it also tells you your R and your R squared. So it's kind of nice to know the coefficient of determination if you're a statistics student or whatever. So that's where you'd go to get those. And then you can even, if you hit the variable key, you can access this stuff. So if I go to stat R squared, it knows what that is. It pulls it from there. The last thing I want to show you how to do is to get the population in a specific year. So I'm going to go to variable F1. That's actually pulling the function. Then if I enter a year, like suppose I wanted to know what the population was or would be in 1980, I do that, enter, and there's the prediction there. Thanks for watching.